Have you ever looked at a politician and thought something's not right? Their smiles seem strained. Their skin glistens oddly under the fluorescent lights. Their eyes, those cold, calculating eyes, seem to hold ancient secrets. Well, my friends, you might be onto something, because according to a theory embraced by a surprisingly large number of people, some of our elected officials aren't human at all. They're reptilian shapeshifters. Yes, you read that right, lizard people. Now, before you dismiss this as the ravings of the tinfoil hat brigade, let me assure you this theory has legs. Scaly reptilian legs. It's been around for decades, whispered in hushed tones in the darkest corners of the internet, and dare I say, even occasionally uttered on the floor of Congress, allegedly. So buckle up, dear readers, as we delve into the wacky, wild world of reptilian overlords and the supposed conspiracy that they're running the show. You might laugh, you might cry, you might even start seeing scales on your mailman. But one thing's for sure, you'll never look at a politician the same way again. Where did this whole lizard person thing even come from? Well, like most good conspiracies, it's a tangled web. Some point to ancient myths and legends, tales of serpentine deities and reptilian creatures lurking in the shadows. Others credit science fiction with David Ickey's 1994 book, The Biggest Secret, often cited as a pivotal moment in bringing the theory to the mainstream, if you can call it that.
Ickey, a former sports broadcaster turned self-proclaimed son of the Godhead, posits that a race of reptilian humanoids, the Anunnaki, are the puppet masters behind the world's governments, media, and financial institutions. They maintain control, he claims, through shape-shifting, mind control, and a healthy dose of good old-fashioned fear-mongering.
Now you might be thinking, that's nuts. And you know what? You're probably right. But hey, stranger things have happened, right? Right? Okay, so what proof do these reptilian enthusiasts offer for their outlandish claims? Well, the evidence, much like the reptilian overlords themselves, is often shape-shifting and elusive. There are the blurry photos and shaky videos purportedly capturing politicians mid-transformation, their eyes flashing reptilian, their teeth momentarily morphing into fangs.
Of course, these are easily, and most likely accurately, dismissed as tricks of the light, digital manipulation, or just plain old pareidolia. Our brain's tendency to see patterns where none exist. Then there are the behavioral tells, the subtle signs that supposedly betray a reptilian hiding in human skin. Do they blink sideways? Do they seem uncomfortable in sunlight? Do they have an unusual fondness for eating live mice?
These, my friends, are the hallmarks of a reptilian infiltrator, or so the theory goes. Never mind that these are also the hallmarks of, well, anyone who's ever had a long day at the office. One of the more amusing aspects of the reptilian conspiracy is the tendency for believers to identify specific politicians as, shall we say, of the lizard persuasion. The list of suspected reptilian overlords reads like a who's who of global power players, past and present. We're talking royalty, presidents, prime ministers, even the occasional celebrity chef, thrown in for good measure. What do they all have in common? Power, influence, and, according to conspiracy theorists, a distinct lack of pulse.
There are even online forums dedicated to analyzing photos and videos, searching for those telltale reptilian traits. Is that a flicker of a forked tongue? Did her eyes just turn completely black for a second? Did he just refer to the common people as delicious cattle? Case closed.
Section 5, Scaly Shenanigans, the Reptilian Agenda Unmasked. So, let's assume, just for a moment, that these reptilian overlords do exist. What's their game plan? What do they want with our planet and its unsuspecting human population?
Well, according to conspiracy law, the reptilian agenda is as vast as it is nefarious. They're here to enslave humanity, of course, to harvest our planet's resources, and, most sinister of all, to replace our delicious buttery croissants with some kind of scaly croissant equivalent. The horror.
How do they achieve this? Through a cunning combination of mind control, manipulation of the media, and of course, strategic deployment of chemtrails. Because what's a good conspiracy theory without a little bit of chemtrail action? They're pulling the strings, controlling the banks, starting wars, and making sure that Nickelback stays on the radio. They're everywhere and nowhere, always watching, always waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That moment, by the way, is always just around the corner, or so they'd like us to think. Section 6. The eyes have it, and they're cold-blooded. One of the most persistent claims about reptilian overlords is their supposed inability to fully disguise their reptilian eyes. No matter how convincing their human facade, the theory goes, their true nature will always shine through in their cold reptilian gaze.
So how do you spot these reptilian peepers? Well, according to the experts, and by experts I mean people who spend way too much time on conspiracy theory websites, you need to look for the telltale signs: vertical slits, a lack of warmth or empathy, and of course the occasional glint of predatory hunger. You know, the look your cat gives you right before it coughs up a hairball on your new rug.
Of course, the more rational among us might point out that these so-called reptilian eyes could simply be the result of genetics, lighting, or, the fact that some people just have kind of intense eyes. But where's the fun in that? Section 7. From the Swamp to the Swamp, a history of reptilian rule. Reptilian conspiracy theorists believe that these scaly overlords have been pulling the strings of power for centuries, if not millennia. They see evidence of reptilian influence in everything from ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics to the architecture of Washington, D.C. They point to supposed reptilian symbolism in corporate logos, on national flags, and even on the dollar bill, because why not? The Illuminati, reptilians, the Freemasons, reptilians, the PTA bake sale that was suspiciously low on brownies last week, you guessed it, reptilians. They're everywhere, these conspiracy theorists claim. Their scaly claws sunk deep into the fabric of society. They're the puppet masters, the power behind the throne, the reason we can't have nice things. Or maybe, just maybe, they're just a bunch of lizards trying to make their way in the world, one shady backroom deal at a time. Section 8. Don't be a sheeple. Wake up and smell the sulfur and pineal glands. A key tenet of the reptilian conspiracy theory is the idea that these lizard overlords are actively suppressing our true potential. They do this, according to the theory, by bombarding us with distractions, reality TV, anyone, poisoning our food and water, fluoride, man fluoride, and most insidiously, calcifying our pineal glands. The pineal gland, for those of you who haven't been keeping up with your New Age pseudoscience, is a tiny gland in the brain that produces melatonin. Some believe it's our connection to higher consciousness, our third eye, if you will. And the reptilians, being the party poopers they are supposedly hell-bent on shutting it down. How? By, you guessed it, putting fluoride in our water. Because nothing says evil reptilian overlord like a good fluoridation scheme. So, how do we fight back against these scaly oppressors? Well, according to the conspiracy theorists, it's all about raising our vibrations, opening our third eyes, and of course stocking up on tinfoil hats, just in case. Section 9. So are they real? Don't ask, don't tell. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stephen, you've presented all this evidence, all these theories, but you haven't actually answered the question. Are reptilian overlords real? And to that I say, who's asking? Is it you, or is it the reptilian overlords speaking through you, trying to silence me before I can expose their scaly truth? Look, the truth, as they say, is out there. Or maybe it's in here. Taps forehead knowingly. But seriously, folks, while the idea of reptilian overlords controlling the world might seem absurd, it does make you wonder about the nature of power, the prevalence of conspiracy theories, and why we're so quick to believe things that confirm our biases, no matter how outlandish. Or maybe it's just fun to think that somewhere, deep beneath the Houses of Parliament, a group of lizard people are sipping tea and plotting world domination. Section 10. In conclusion, never trust a politician with perfect teeth or a forked tongue. So there you have it, folks. A crash course in the wonderfully weird world of reptilian overlords. Are they real? Probably not. But hey, it's always a good idea to be skeptical, to question authority, and to never, ever trust a politician who refuses to eat a salad in public, just in case. And remember, if you see something, say something, or maybe just post it on the internet with a catchy hashtag. Because in the age of social media, the truth is out there, somewhere between the cat videos and the political rants. And if you look closely enough, you might even catch a glimpse of a scaly tail disappearing behind the curtain, or maybe that's just my imagination.